Hello and welcome to Armored Warfare with Gorlans Army. My name is Ralix and today I will be reviewing the Type 59 Tier 3 Chinese Premium Main Battle Tank. If we come over here to look at the stats of the tank, we see immediately that its gun is pretty subpar for its tier, only 195mm of penetration and 230 damage. Its DPM is also pretty low at 2032. The hit points are pretty good at 1246. It's got a max speed of 50 kilometers an hour, which is good, but it does take 9 seconds to build up to 32, so it's going to take you a while to build up to that speed. The view range is average at 360 meters. The cannon depression is pretty terrible at 6 degrees. Turret traverse is 24.5 degrees, which is okay for this tier. Reload time is 6.8 seconds, which is around average-ish. The accuracy is 0.11. You can get it down to 0.10 if you use the right commanders. And the targeting time is 2.72 seconds, which is also about average. Now, coming over here to the armor on the tank, you see something very interesting. One, the frontal hull and turret of the vehicle is very tough. 240 millimeters on the turret and 135 meters in the hull. Now, that 135 millimeters is not in this upper part. It's up in this upper part and not in the lower part of the hull. That means that this lower part is weak and will not bounce shots as readily as the upper part, so you want to get hull down if you can. Also, you'll note that on the side of the tank, it's a 180 millimeters in the turret and 100 millimeters in the side, which means that this tank has the most side armor of any equal-tiered main battle tank by about 40 millimeters, which means that this thing can side scrape really, really well. If we come over here to the commanders, you can see that right now I have Ionis Senna loaded out because I'm training him up. This is a premium vehicle and commanders train faster than them. The commanders I would recommend, though, I have 3 commander recommendations, one being Rashid Al-Attasi, the second being Freya, and the third being Juan. Freya and Juan are very close to each other. They have very similar abilities. If you want to do more damage, you choose one of those 2 commanders, but if you want more mobility, go ahead and go with Rashid. He'll give you more mobility in the turret and hull traverse, which is very, very useful. Coming over here to the crew, you can see that I got spin to wind to increase my hull traverse to keep this thing a little more wiggly. I also got off-road driving, which allows me to accelerate off-road terrain faster. I got quick draw on my gunner, which allows the reticle to aim down and lets me take snapshots easier. And I also took shoot from the hip, which what that does is that reduces how large your aiming blue can be at max, which means you can take snapshots easier. For my loader, I went ahead and took rapid fire, which reduces my reload time, and I also took preparation, which increases my ammo swap speed. Now, the gun on this tank is pretty mediocre, which means you only want to load AP and HE ammo. I keep 40 rounds of AP and 10 of HE. The AP rounds go through the weak spots of other tanks very, very well, and they can also hit them in the side and rear, though they are going to have difficulty getting through the thicker frontal armor of an M60. I carry 10 HE rounds just in case I have problems with like an M60 sitting in the cap circle and capping out and I need to reset it really quick. And the AP rounds do really well. I don't recommend the heat because they don't have enough penetration for these targets. It's really risky to take those and you really don't gain that much more damage. For consumables, you know me, I like to run with my premium consumables. However, instead of a medical kit on this, I carry an energy drink simply to keep my crew stats high. I like to keep them going there, although a medical kit is fully recommended if you want to change that over the energy drink, simply because it helps. It'll restore your crew if you need it. I keep the spare parts in case I get damaged severely in battle and need to fix everything on the tank. I keep an auto fire extinguisher on all of my tanks because I do not like fires. They need to be put out quickly because I die a lot from them, or would have if the fire extinguishers saved my life a lot. I also have the chrome barrel lining for my retrofit and a Mark II internal hull reinforcement, and the reason why I chose those for my retrofits is because the Mark I chrome barrel lining helps my accuracy, while the internal hull reinforcement gives me the most hit points more, which allows me to take more hits. Now, the funny thing about the Type 59 is it sits somewhere between the Object 155 and the T62. The difference is being that it's well armored, much more well armored than either of those vehicles, but its gun is much less. It's a lesser gun. It doesn't do as much damage, it doesn't penetrate as much, it is a little more accurate, And the thing that this thing gains over those two vehicles is it can side scrape, and it has thicker upper hull armor. So higher tiered vehicles are going to have a harder time penetrating your upper hull, which is a massive plus. As in the T-62, you really can't depend on your upper hull armor at all in higher tiered games. You can in the object, but this thing is more mobile than the object, while less mobile than the T-62 Vet. All in all, I can say this is a very good tank. Obsidian was awesome in giving it to everybody for Christmas. If you log in anytime between now and the 3rd of January, you will get this tank in your garage for free to play as you choose. And again, it comes with a full level 5 crew automatically. You don't have to train them up to that. They automatically get their 2 skills. And let's see some gameplay to show you how this thing performs in battle. Alright, here we are on River Point, one of my favorite maps to play in this tank, due to its T-Series style hull, which allows you to play hull down very, very well. Now, here on River Point, if it's not encountered and you're in a main battle tank, the 8-line is a possible push for you. And we're going to go there in the Type 59 to see how well we can prevent enemies from getting into it and outflanking our allies that go middle. And as you can see, if you get this tank going downhill, you can get it going very, very quick above the 50-kilometer posted speed limit, which means this thing is far more agile than it appears on paper. Now, as we go down here through this tunnel, there's a couple of things you have to worry about on this map. One, if you have a lot of main battle tanks, there's a very possible push through the 8-line. The lights and AFVs usually go to the west to fight it out there, and main battle tanks will usually go into the city while Artie takes pot shots at everything else. Now, a very good position for us is right here behind this rock. Usually the enemy team will push into this position faster and already be dug in. But because they're not, we're going to go ahead and push forward to a second position I have, a second hold down position that will allow us to keep them from advancing anymore. You don't want to give your opponents any ground unless you absolutely have to. Keep them far away from your cap. So here we are, we're in a very good hold down position, and we can fire into the lower plates all the enemy NPCs up here. And it's very good that there's no artillery on the other team, otherwise they'd be able to hit us from this position and do a lot of damage. Right now the only way for them to kill me is to fire a lot of HE, and because HE is a very, very unpopular choice of ammunition, I highly doubt they'll do that. Another thing to note when you're pushing around here, if they have tank destroyers at A7, they can prevent this push and fire into you, so be careful of that. Map tactics on here would be to position tank destroyers around A6 on either side of the map, I6 for the north side, and A6 for the north side, and I6 for the southern side. And that'll stop a push through this 8-line that was on you. But once you come out of this tunnel, it's very easy to get pinned down by anybody sitting in the base or anybody on the ridgeline. They're very easy targets. You can see that our tank destroyers and AFVs are in the west doing good combat against their tank destroyers, light tanks, and AFVs. And our guys are pushing through the middle of the map, as it seems they haven't committed as many tanks there as they probably should have. Other things to note about this is if there is a tank destroyer up in A6 and you don't want to push out but you've captured this, you want to turn around and go back so you can face the threat from one direction instead of having your side armor to it and you can fire it out from both directions. So as you can see, we've been very effective here in this position. We've been bouncing a lot of shots and doing a lot of damage so far. We've done 1,900 damage, which is it's a very standard game to do about that much damage at tier 3. And what you want to do now is, you can see that they're pulling back and they're getting very skittish, so we're going to pull out of this position and try to assault that other Type 59, because he's all alone now. His ally that was with him left him, and we can push right over this hill with our other guys and out DPM him if we need to. Although that doesn't mean get shot, that still means you want to hide yourself fairly well. Just don't be afraid to push. So here we are, we're rolling up on this guy, and we have a 2-shot with lower plate, so we take it, he bounces one off of us, and we pull in behind the rock to get some cover. We see a T-62 who I thought was going to come down good, but he's a lot higher than I originally thought he was. And if you find yourself in this position that the enemies are in, where you're fighting a lot of tanks down and you're outnumbered, you want to pull back to about D7. There is a fallback position there and some buildings that you can hide behind and get hull down in, so you can dig in again, and as they come out, let your tank destroyers rip in. So here we are, we're going to clean up this Type 59, and you can see we outnumber the team almost 2-1 right now. And they're panicking now. Our guys have pushed through the west and been very successful in their push, and now it's just a matter of who gets the most damage, how fast. So we can see that their Type 59 and M60 patent out there could have put very effective fire into us if they'd been able to. But because they're being engaged from multiple sides, it's very hard for them to do so. This M60 does put a good shot into us, but we pull back to reload, and he makes a blunder and dives right down the hill, which makes his gun useless and a very easy kill with the flatter upper full of his tank. We try to get a shot on this T62, but he is killed too fast for us to do anything about it. The Zalo S dies. Now there's just one more Type 59, and this will show you how strong the Type 59 side armor is. We fire into the side and only do critical track damage. Here it is again. We have a clear side shot. We fire, and we only destroy the tracks, which allows us to get very good assistance damage against that Type 59 and win the game. So we'll take a look at the post-battle results now. And here you can see we did very, very well for our team. We did 3,665 damage, got the gold medal as we were the top on our team, and netted a very good 225,000 credits, and bounced a good amount of damage. And that's the Type 59 in a nutshell. Very good tank, and I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to play it.